10 myths about death. Death is the one thing we all have in common, and yet it's surrounded by mystery and misconceptions. Today, we're busting the top 10 myths about death, so get ready to separate the spooky fiction from the eerie truth. And hey, we'll keep it light enough to handle. So grab your popcorn, and let's bust some myths. First up, the big one. Death is the end when you die. When you die, that's it, lights out, game over, sayonara. But is it really? Some people believe consciousness lives on even after the heart stops beating. Ever heard of those near-death experiences where people see a bright light or a long tunnel? It's like a cosmic version of The Price is Right. Come on down. But seriously, the jury's still out on whether consciousness truly ends at death. The brain might be down for the count, but who knows what's happening backstage? We've observed that brain activity can continue for a few moments after clinical death. This opens up intriguing possibilities. But for now, consciousness after death remains one of life's greatest mysteries. So next time someone says, "You'll sleep like the dead," just remember they might not be as out as we think. Myth number 2. Everyone experiences death the same way. Ever heard the phrase, "we all die the same way"? Well, that's as true as saying everyone enjoys pineapple on pizza. Death, like life, is unique for everyone. Culture, religion, and personal beliefs shape how we experience the end of life. For some, it's like slipping into a dream. For others, it's a dramatic exit worthy of an Oscar. It's like the ultimate choose-your-own-adventure book, except, with fewer pages left. In some cultures, death is seen as a joyous return to the ancestors, while in others, it's a solemn event. The experience and rituals surrounding death vary significantly across the world. So, next time someone says, "We all meet the same end," just nod and say, "Sure, but some of us get a better soundtrack." Coming in hot at number 3. You can predict when you will die. They'll say, "I just know I'm going to die young." Sure, if by young, you mean a spry 85 surrounded by cats. People love to think they can predict their death like it's some kind of scheduled dentist appointment. The truth? Death is more like your Wi-Fi, unpredictable and always at the worst possible. Life expectancy can be estimated based on various factors, but it's impossible to predict the exact time or cause of death for an individual. The unpredictability of life events makes such predictions unreliable. So, if you're planning on penciling in your big day on the calendar, you might want to stick to planning your next vacation instead. Myth number 4. The dying see their whole life flash before their eyes. You've seen it in the movies. Someone's on the brink of death, and bam, cue the highlight reel of their life. But is this really how it goes down? Not exactly. While some folks report a life review during near-death experiences, it's not a guarantee. It's more like your brain's last-ditch effort to keep you entertained. Kind of like Netflix autoplay, but with fewer plot twists. The life review is often reported in near-death experiences, but it's not something that everyone experiences. It's likely a response of the brain under extreme stress, rather than a universal phenomenon. So, don't worry if you don't get the whole life flash experience. Maybe your brain just decided to skip the reruns. Next up, myth number 5. The body stops functioning immediately after death. Once you're dead, everything just stops. No, not so fast. Your body isn't like a light switch, it's more like your smartphone when you don't charge it right away. Even after you're gone, there's still some activity going on in there. Cells keep working for a while, and sometimes muscles even twitch post-mortem, like your body's last attempt at a dance-off. Talk about dedication. After death, the body undergoes several changes, including rigor mortis, where muscles stiffen. Some cellular processes can continue for hours after death, so the body doesn't shut down all at once. So, in a way, your body's still got some moves left, even after you've checked out. Here's one that keeps people up at night. Death is always painful. But the reality is, many people die peacefully, especially with the help of modern medicine. It's not all screaming and wailing like in the horror movies. Sometimes, it's more like drifting off to sleep during a boring lecture. Only this time, you don't wake up with drool on your desk. With proper care, most patients can experience a pain-free and peaceful death. Our focus is on ensuring comfort and dignity in the final moments. So, the next time you hear someone say, "I hope it's quick and painless," remind them that with today's care, they might just get their wish. Myth number 7. Ghosts are proof of life after death. Ghosts, they're the ultimate party crashers. But are they really proof of life after death? Sorry, ghost hunters, but most sightings can be explained by science. It's usually just your brain playing tricks on you, or maybe you just need to clean your house more often. Dust bunnies, after all, make terrible roommates. Many reported ghost sightings can be attributed to natural causes, such as sleep paralysis, hallucinations, or environmental factors. While the belief in ghosts is widespread, there's no conclusive evidence that they're real. So before you start calling the Ghostbusters, maybe try calling an exterminator first. Myth number 8. Talking about death will bring it closer. Ever been at a dinner party where someone mentions death, and suddenly everyone's more interested in their mashed potatoes? There's this weird belief that talking about death somehow invites it in, like saying Candyman 3 times in the mirror. But guess what? Death's not a vampire. It doesn't need an invite. Talking about it actually helps us prepare and maybe even live a little better. So, go ahead, break the ice with some light death talk, just maybe not during dessert. Open discussions about death can reduce anxiety and help individuals and families make informed decisions. It's an important conversation that can bring peace and clarity. Who knew talking about death could actually make life a little less scary? Plus, it's a surefire way to make sure nobody steals your fries at the table. Moving on to one of the spookier myths. The dead can communicate with the living. I know. Every horror movie ever says otherwise, but in reality, those messages from beyond might just be your imagination running wild. Or maybe it's just the wind or your cat knocking something over. While it's comforting to think our loved ones are still around, there's no hard evidence that they're sending us texts from the afterlife. Sorry, no ghost emojis here. Grief and the desire to stay connected to loved ones can lead to experiences that feel like communication with the dead. However, these experiences are often psychological in nature rather than supernatural. So if you're hearing from the other side, it might be time to check your Wi-Fi, not your Ouija board. And finally, the ultimate myth. You can cheat death. Whether it's immortality, elixirs, cryogenics, or just trying to eat nothing but kale, the idea that you can avoid the inevitable has been around forever. But here's the truth. Death isn't something you can dodge, no matter how many green smoothies you chug. Instead of trying to cheat it, why not focus on living your best life? After all, life's too short to spend it running from the Grim Reaper, especially if he's offering pizza. Accepting death as an inevitable part of life can actually lead to a more fulfilling existence. It encourages us to make the most of our time and focus on what truly matters. So, instead of trying to cheat death, why not try beating it at its own game? Live fully, love deeply, and maybe, just maybe, save that kale for someone else. And there you have it, 10 myths about death, busted wide open. Death might be the end, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh and learn about it while we're still here. Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and maybe even share this video with someone who could use a good chuckle about the afterlife. Until next time, keep living life to the fullest, because nobody gets out alive.